Okay, right. Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us here for this pre-match press conference ahead of Netherlands versus India tomorrow at the Sydney Cricket Ground. We're joined by Scott Edwards from the Netherlands, who will be taking questions here from the press room in the Sydney Cricket Ground and also via Zoom. So thanks very much for joining in. Firstly, can I start by seeing some hands in the room for questions? Bruce, do you want to run the mic with that side?
Thanks. Scott, I saw Max Dowd tweeted yesterday that picture of his diary with this match sort of penciled into it. Are you able to give yourselves a moment to just reflect on what playing India at the SCG in a World Cup is going to mean?
Yeah, it's huge. You always dream of playing in World Cups, and SCG's one of the most famous grounds in the world, and then add in you're playing against arguably one of the best teams in the world. It's pretty surreal. Where the boys are looking forward to it.
These opportunities to play the very big teams, the Indias, the Englands, the ODI Super League gave you a bit more of that opportunity. That's now not going to be a thing in the future schedule. Are you concerned that playing these teams like India, the opportunities might not come round as much in the future outside of tournaments like this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously disappointing that the ODI Super League's not going ahead. That was a great experience for a lot of our players, and obviously, leaning forward, there's obviously more teams going into World Cups in the future, which is great. But yeah, it's you've got to qualify for those events, which is always tough. So yeah, a bit disappointing, but we're here now, and we get to play another four, five, however many games at the World Cup, which we're looking forward to.
And just last one, if I can, have you planned for this game any differently than you would any other game?
No, not really. I think you plan against the team you're playing against. You do your analysis. You prepare how you'd prepare against any teams. It's obviously a high quality unit. So we're just looking forward to going out and playing. Hopefully, putting a good performance on the board.
Scott, first of all, someone like Tom, who has played a lot of cricket at this ground, he has played for Australia under 19s here, New South Wales Blues also. So how would you like to use his experience of SCG and playing in these conditions, and someone like Rule of Mandamova's experience? So if you can talk about these two experienced players.
Yeah, well, Tom, he's obviously great to have in the squad. He hasn't got the runs this tournament, but hopefully this is the game that he can get going. Both of them bring a wealth of experience in T20 cricket, so that's huge for our guys, especially looking at we've got 3 or 4 guys that are under 20 or under 21 years old, so they're massive to have around the group and great for the morale.
Scott, you don't have to look too far to see people in the Dutch ranks who have beaten highly regarded oppositions in the past. The man who's walked in with you, he was there at England 2009. Again, 5 years later, I think it was. So has there been a lot of chat about, taking on a team of such regard? Is there anything you can put, down to potentially, beating a giant, what it takes to kind of unravel a more favoured opposition?
Good question. I think for us, it's about playing our brand of cricket and the way that we go about it. You're not trying to play how India would play or how Australia would play. We're trying to play our brand of cricket, and we think, if we, play at a high enough level, then you give yourselves a chance in these sort of bigger games.
And to kind of contrast it, there's a nice young crop or a new crop of players actually coming through the Dutch system now. Thinking about players who didn't even make the squad, the likes of Philip Wasservan and other young players who are playing top class of cricket. How good is it to have a little bit more depth in that regard, and knowing that you've got 20, 25 players who are always chomping at the bit to play international cricket, where perhaps in times gone past it might not have been the case?
Yeah, I think that was probably where the Super League was so good. Obviously we didn't have a lot of our county guys throughout that period, which made it hard to win games. But it gave a lot of our younger guys an opportunity, which I think a lot of them showed that they were capable of performing and coming up against these bigger and better players.
Scott, you'll be playing. This group has already got 3 top teams like India, South Africa, and Pakistan, and they are the favourites to make it to the top 2. You think you can be party spoiler for any team if you can stun any of these 3? You can actually stop one of them from going to the last 4.
For us, it's just about, that one game at a time, I suppose. So, we're focusing on this game against India tomorrow. Then, after that, we look into the other games. But, yeah, for us, it's just preparing for this game and, hopefully seeing, putting up a good performance and seeing if we can, beat India tomorrow.
Hi Scott, Sushant here from Sports Yari. Did you watch the India-Pakistan game for this one? Can you describe watching Virat Kohli's innings and how do you prepare for someone like that?
Yeah, it was an unbelievable game of cricket. They're always great games to watch, the India-Pakistan games, and obviously both teams have some incredible cricketers, and what Virat did yesterday was pretty surreal, or the other day. So it's you hope you don't come up against him on one of those days because he looked pretty hard to stop.
Any special preparations for Virat or anybody else in the Indian team?
You look at guys individually and you see, you set out plans for how you're going to go about bowling to them, and hopefully you execute and hopefully you get them out on that day. So yeah, it's preparing for each of the Indian players as you would anyone else, and it's just you hope you get it right on the day.
Hi Scott, you mentioned about playing your brand of cricket, but I mean, what if you could tell us about what is the mental setup as a captain, or I mean just players playing against India, what is the talk or what is the mental setup in the dressing room? Is it we have to beat India because if we do then it'll be a huge thing for Netherlands cricket and for cricket for these associate nations around the world, or is it you're looking at the bigger picture and you're I mean, we'll try and give our best and see where it goes?
Yeah, when I say our brand of cricket, it's the way that we as a team think we perform best. So if we perform to the ability we think we can perform, that gives us our best chance to compete. Obviously, these teams, if they're on their day, they're extremely hard to beat. So yeah, we've just got to try and bring our A game, and if that's enough, that's enough. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, Scott, Vimal Kumar this side. Do you think that the way India has started and the kind of ranking they have, the kind of superstars they have, all the pressure is on India to win because you guys maybe nothing to lose?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's many people out there expecting us to win. So, for us, as I said, we'll play our best brand of cricket, and we'll do everything we can to win this game. But yeah, there's no pressure on us in that sense, I suppose.
Scott here. Can you give us an idea of how Netherlands as a cricket culture has evolved over the last few years? I mean, in associate nations, we normally see a lot of South Asian players involved in that cricket. How has Netherlands come through in the last few years?
Yeah, I think, again, going back to the ODI Super League, it was a great opportunity for us to, perform on, I think it was the first time we've actually played on Dutch national television. So that combined with, bringing across all these bigger nations, the crowds we were getting in were a lot bigger than we've ever had before. So yeah, it's definitely growing, but it's, in Europe, it's obviously a smaller sport, and, the better we do in these sort of tournaments, the more popular and the more exposure the sport gets. So yeah, hopefully, we can cause a couple of upsets and there's even more exposure there.
Scott, you've played the top teams in ODIs in recent times, and here you'll be playing 2-3 other main teams. What are the learning points from the ODIs that you can take to the T20 World Cup? Playing these top teams like England, Pakistan, West Indies in the ODIs in recent times, and what you can take to this format?
Yeah, I think definitely, coming up against these guys, it's a little bit of an unknown if you only play the bigger nations sort of once every few years. But the fact that we got to play sort of 12 to 15 games in the last 9 months gives us a lot of confidence. Even for individuals, you look at guys that have performed against these teams. It just it gives you that that sort of acknowledgement that you can perform on the big stage against these bigger teams. So we take a lot of confidence from that.
Scott, can I just check? Have you got any injury concerns? Are you picking from a full squad tomorrow?
Hoping to be, yeah. So I think obviously we'll see how Ruler had a bit of an injury leading into this game. So yeah, hopefully we'll see how he goes at training today, and yeah, hopefully we've got a full squad to pick from.
Okay, just the last question in the room.
Scott, just you have said that there are few young guys in your team, and do you see that some of your players taking this game against India as probably an audition for the IPL?
Not really, no. For us, it's, we want to play as a team. We want to compete as a team. Yeah, I think you get that exposure from playing well as a group. I don't think the individual in that sense comes into it.
Okay, I think we have finished the questions in the room, or maybe one more question in the room, please. Just a nice quick one. And then we will finish the press conference by taking questions on Zoom. So we'll just do this quickly.
Anything from the learning point of view? Any specific plans of a one-on-one conversation after the game or while you're playing the game with Virat Kohli's or Rohit Sharma's? Any specific plan for a one-to-one interaction as learning point of view after this game? As in speaking to them after the game? Yes.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great to, these guys are obviously the best in the world. So any chance you get to learn from these sort of players is awesome. We saw that at the last World Cup. They're generally pretty generous with their time. So, but yeah, for us, the first thing is, playing this game of cricket in a good hard brand of cricket, and we'll go from there.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Great. So we've just got time for two quick questions from Zoom, please. One each from Niharika, please.
Good morning, Skipper, from India. And first of all, good luck for tomorrow's game. Just wanted to ask you, considering the way Indian batters went on Sunday, how important does it become for your batters to start really well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in any game of cricket, you need to start well, whether that's with the ball or with the bat. So yeah, I suppose hopefully our batters get going to start the innings, and yeah, we can go from there.
And just the final question, please, from Amitava.
Hi, this is Amitava from Crickview, India. Hi, Scott. You have been to Sydney now, practicing there and seen the conditions, the pitch, the ground measurements and all. What are your thoughts on the conditions right now?
Well, we've only actually just rocked up to the ground now, so I'll be checking that out in the next few minutes.
Okay. Best of luck.
Okay, great. That concludes the press conference. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.